Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to guide you through this today. We're diving into a mind-bending thought experiment straight from our source material. This explainer is going to take us on a pretty wild ride through physics, mathematics, and philosophy, and it's going to completely challenge our fundamental understanding of existence.
Okay, let's just skip our usual agenda and jump right into a massive question that the source poses right out of the gate. Can the strict, rigid laws of physics actually prove the existence of an afterlife? I know, it sounds impossible, maybe even a little contradictory, right? But the logic mapped out here is absolutely fascinating. It takes concepts we already know are real to build a wildly provocative theory. Section 1. Time and the Big Bang. The rules of reality.
To build this logical proof, we first need to lay down the foundational rules of reality, starting with the concept of time. The source argues that as long as anything exists, it has to do so within time. That means time is woven into the very fabric of reality itself. It's not some separate clock watching from the outside. It is part of the whole blanket of existence. So following that logic, the only way time can truly end is if absolutely everything ceased to exist completely.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the source uses a standard physical law to prove that nothing has actually never truly existed. You know the law of conservation of energy, right? It's a total cornerstone of physics. It states that energy can change forms, sure, but it absolutely cannot be created out of thin air, nor can it be destroyed into absolute nothingness.
And this brilliantly illustrates why the Big Bang wasn't some absolute starting point. Think about it. Time had to already be ticking to even allow that event to happen. For the Big Bang to kick off 13.8 billion years ago, something had to have caused it, because again, energy can't just be created. And for any event to happen at all, time must exist to allow it to unfold. So even before our universe's grand expansion, the clock was still ticking.
So the crucial takeaway here is that true nothingness has never existed, and honestly, it never will. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed, something has always existed in some form or another. And if something has always existed, which is just a mathematical necessity at this point, that means time has always existed too. Time is literally infinite.
Which brings us to Section 2, the infinite monkey theorem, a cosmic metaphor. Since we're dealing with infinite time, the source brings up a famous metaphorical monkey to help us wrap our heads around the implications. The infinite monkey theorem essentially dictates that, given an absolute eternity, random actions will eventually produce every single possible, perfectly ordered combination. So, if you sit a monkey at a typewriter for an infinite amount of time, just mashing random keys, it is mathematically guaranteed to eventually type out Hamlet flawlessly. Actually, it'll type it out in every single order possible. Let's map this out to reality. The universe is our monkey, right? It's constantly hammering away at the typewriter, blowing atoms apart and combining them in this infinite dance. Gravity pushes and pulls, solar flares erupt, atoms vibrate. The universe is just never still. Over incomprehensible amounts of time, this cosmic monkey is shuffling the fundamental letters of reality, atoms, quarks, all the elements, guaranteeing that every possible combination will eventually be written.
Moving on to Section 3. You are a combination, bringing it down to earth.
Let's take the next logical step and see how this builds. Because now we need to talk about you for a second. The source injects a bit of humor here, but it's true. Mathematically speaking, you are just as valid a combination of atoms as a massive star, a planet, or even a big old can of root beer. From the universe's perspective, these are all just different arrangements of the exact same basic building blocks.
I love the way this is phrased in the source. You are a combination of those letters that the universe typed in the infinite chaos that time provides. Think about that for a second. You are the direct result of the universe combining elements over an incomprehensible amount of time. You are literally one of the Shakespearean plays our cosmic monkey finally managed to type out.
But how do we know this for sure? Well, the simple fact that you are breathing right now is absolute proof that you are possible. Because you're here, listening to this explainer, existing, we know for a fact that your specific, highly complex atomic combination is an achievable reality. You are not an impossibility. This leads to Section 4, the inevitability of rebirth, the mathematical guarantee. This brings us to the absolute core of the source's argument. What does all of this have to do with the afterlife? Well, this is where the math really hits home. Given enough time, every single possibility becomes an inevitability. If you are possible, which we just established you are, and the universe is typing random combinations for infinite time, then the universe is mathematically guaranteed to eventually type you again.
So when you pass away, your body returns to its rudimentary building blocks. The sun might fizzle out, the world might end, but your atoms become the letters the universe writes with once more. They just wait in the cosmic typewriter until, after an absolute eternity passes, your exact atomic combination is hit once again.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's going to take an unimaginably long time. True, but consider this. Do you have any recollection of the billions of years that happened before you were born? Of course not. To you, this massive gap of an absolute eternity is going to feel completely instantaneous. The source illustrates this with a really vivid rapid-fire scenario.
Imagine you're just walking along in your current life. Everything is perfectly normal. Boom! You are struck by lightning. Suddenly, your life just ends, abruptly. And then, wait, what's this? I'm a baby? In an instant, from your perspective, you simply wake up in a new form, totally unaware of the eternity that just passed. To your consciousness, there was absolutely no gap. It was instantaneous. Which brings us to Section 5. Your logical afterlife. You might be living it now.
This rapid transition happens seamlessly from our point of view because of a very practical biological reality. You naturally think your current life is your very first one because the physical brain that held your past memories decayed millions of years ago. So you wake up fresh with zero recollection of your previous existence, completely convinced this is your one and only time around the block. And this leads to a somewhat unsettling but profoundly fascinating conclusion. The source points out that you could have lived before, which means that you are living in an afterlife as we speak. There is absolutely no telling how many lives you've already lived before this very moment. You could be on life number 1, or, honestly, life number 1 trillion. So, knowing that the strict laws of physics mathematically guarantee we will wake up again, the ultimate question the source leaves us pondering is this: what kind of reality will we open our eyes to next? When that cosmic monkey strikes your exact keys again, an eternity from now, what kind of universe are we going to see? Will it look just like this one, or will it be something entirely unimaginable? I'll leave you to think about that. Thanks for exploring this incredible explainer with me, and definitely keep your mind open to the possibilities.